Hey y'all, I'm Hope, and today I'm going to be doing a little bit of an unhaul. You might notice that none of my books are currently on my shelf. I'm in the middle of filming a reorganization and tour video of my shelves, but I am taking some stuff off of my shelves. So here's the stuff I'm getting rid of. First up are my Nikki Sixx books. I read The Heroine Diaries and This Is Gonna Hurt years ago. I think both of these are really interesting. This is literally his journal from when he was struggling with drug addiction, and then this one is kind of his philosophy on beauty and on photography and kind of life and things like that. I thought these were both really interesting when I read them. I no longer remember a ton of this one. I remember sections of this, but I don't think I'm ever likely to revisit these or reread them, and I feel like I've gotten what I can out of them, and I'd rather pass them on to somebody else who might enjoy them. The next two are kind of one-offs. They're single books that I'm getting rid of. The first one is Tobacco Road by Erskine Caldwell. I just got this one for a class like recently, and then that class didn't read it. I was taking a class on Southern Gothic literature last semester. We ended up not reading this one. It was a choice between this or Cormac McCarthy's Outer Dark. We ended up reading Outer Dark, which I actually really enjoyed, and we're not going to read this, and based on what I've read about it and heard about it, I just don't think this is going to be a book for me. And then I am also getting rid of The Man in the Iron Mask by Alexander Dumas. I am keeping some of my other Alexander Dumas books, but this one is like a later book in the series that follows The Three Musketeers, and I've never even read The Three Musketeers. And I feel like this is a book I could probably get from my library if I really wanted to read it later down the road. Up next is basically all of my Vampire Chronicles books, except for the first three. I've heard that the first three are the best, and that it kind of goes downhill after that. And these have been on my shelves for nearly 10 years. I bought these shortly after I moved to the city I currently live in. I got them at a Goodwill because clearly somebody had had them and then gotten rid of all of them. And I haven't read them. And all of that time, I've never even read the second book. I am planning to read that one. I've started it before. I was liking it. But the first book in the series is one that has like a nostalgic place in my heart because I read it, I think, at the right time in high school and just really connected with it and with Louis' story. So I'm keeping the first book for that reason. I'm keeping the second two because I do still want to read them. But as long as it's taken me to get even to the second book, I just don't think I'm really likely, realistically, to read all of these. So I don't need them taking up space on my shelves if I'm just never going to read them. Next, I'm getting rid of a chunk of my John Grisham books. I think there's actually one missing off this stack. Hang on. Well, I'm not sure where it went. There was one more John Grisham I was going to get rid of, but I'm getting rid of these four. I have The Reckoning, The Chamber, The Racketeer, and The Partner. And again, these have been sitting on my shelf for a long time. I used to read a lot of John Grisham. I haven't been recently. And I just, realistically, I'm not going to read these anytime soon. And also, it's John Grisham. Those are going to be available from the library. I'm also getting rid of The Client, which is the one I can't currently find. It is somewhere around here in all of the giant stack of books that I have sitting around, so I will throw that on the unhaul stack when I find it. And then the very last couple of things, sorry I'm walking back and forth because, again, pile of books. I'm gonna get rid of the first volume of The Wicked and the Divine by Kieran Gillen and some other people. I read this recently. I liked it fine. I think I gave it 3.5 stars, and I thought at the time that I would continue with the series. But as with many graphic novel series, this just hasn't stuck with me, and I just don't think I'm likely to continue the series, at least not in this format. I might see if my library has them or anything like that, but I just don't think I'm likely to buy them because this one was fine, but I don't feel any kind of strong urge to continue the series at this point. And the last book I'm getting rid of kind of makes me sad, but I'm getting rid of Grendel by John Gardner. This was a book that I read in high school for a summer reading project we did on monsters for my senior year of high school. And I actually really love this book. I've read it a couple of times. And then I've recently discovered some kind of gross things that the author has said previously. I don't think he's even alive anymore. I'm not sure. But in my current classes, I'm taking a Canterbury Tales class. And one of the things we talked about was this quitclaim from a court case that Chaucer was involved in with somebody named Cecily Champagne. And for many years, the phrasing of the quitclaim made it sound like he might have been involved in some sort of sexual assault of her or something along those lines. And there were a lot of people who talked about that quitclaim after it was discovered, and John Gardner being one of them, who said some really disgusting kind of victim blaming things or suggested that it was like a positive thing if he had raped her. And it just, that made my skin crawl, and I no longer want to have this on my shelves, even though I really liked it when I read it. I think just the fact that it was written by somebody who had those kind of views just makes me really uncomfortable, so I'm gonna be getting rid of that. Quick update to the Unhaul. In the process of putting everything back, I had a couple more things come off my shelves. First of all, It by Stephen King. I finished it at the end of last year, I think. I was keeping it on my shelf like a trophy because it's so long and I had conquered it. But to be honest, I'm never gonna reread it. It was just fine for me. It can go and free me up some space. And then also Don Quixote by Miguel de Cervantes. Yeah, this has been on my shelf for probably 15 years, and I have never once read it. I think I got it at a used bookstore at some point. It was in good condition. I thought, oh, maybe someday I'll read Don Quixote. And I just don't have any interest in it anymore, and it is so thick. And when I was trying to fit all of my, so on this side, yeah, all of my like classics and things up here, but when I was putting those back, I needed some space, so this is just gonna go. Quick update for this Unhaul, because since I filmed all of this, I've decided I'm gonna try out Pango Books. I've seen a lot of people buying and selling on there, and it looks like it could be a really great way for me to get some of these books out of my house. So definitely let me know if you have any tips, because I really don't know what I'm doing. I've never tried to use anything like this before. So if you've had success with Pango, either buying or selling, like definitely let me know some tips down in the comments. I'd really appreciate it. Also, if there's anything in particular in this Unhaul that you think I should like put up there that you think would be popular, I would appreciate that advice as well. But yeah, I'm gonna put my Pango link in my description in case you want to check it out, but like obviously no pressure. I'm just putting it up there to try and make back some of the money that I've spent on these books and maybe buy some more books in future. And also, you know, importantly, have more space on my shelves because I have very little of that. Even with the reorganization in the Unhaul, I'm still running a little low on space. So those are all of the books that I'm unhauling in this current clean off of my shelves, and I am happy to see them go. They've been taking up a lot of room, and a lot of those I just know I'm not gonna read or I'm not gonna read again. So feels good to be getting rid of some stuff and making some space for things that I know I am gonna read and love. So yeah. Anyway, that's all I have for you today. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and if you have, I hope you'll consider giving it a like, maybe even subscribing to see what comes next. I'm currently posting every Tuesday and Saturday, so there is more content coming soon, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.